we aim each week to bring some top picks and opinions on the world of MMOs, since we are fans and players of MMOs. All right, so first up, we're going to do some daily quests. This is where I just kind of pick up some things that I saw on the news line, kind of repeats or things about we talked about in the past. Like ESO was launched this past week. For those of who joined us for our show, thank you so much. A lot of fun, a lot of blast, and so we got out there. And I didn't experience it personally, but there was a bug. A lot of people who did not buy Greymore got it for free, and there are those who actually pay for Greymore did not. And so Zazil mentioned something about horses. Mention that again.
Mm. Oh, well, there was the pre-order mount, as well as some dropped loot. But there were things that were not only from just the pre-order, because everyone that pre-ordered got the horse, as well as some other items. But the horse was the cool part, for me anyway. But also the digital deluxe items were given to people who not only didn't pre-order, but they just hadn't even purchased the game, and the whole Greymore territory was opened up to them as if they had.
Yep.
So I was hovering over the refund button. I mean, if I can get it for free, that $40 goes a long way at Taco Bell.
Yep.
Not a sponsor.
Yeah. So from one of the articles, bug that granted players who didn't buy the chapter access to the content, while many players who did buy it were locked out. After being down most of the day, that first day, Tuesday, hitting the EU players mostly, the game ultimately came back and was playable Wednesday, though ZeniMax took the servers down again Thursday morning in another attempt to fix access bugs for paying players. So we'll talk more about that in a minute, ESO. The other thing that came out this week was Phantasy Star Online 2. After waiting 8 years to launch on the PC in the West, there were hiccups. Apparently, if you had Windows 10, it launch issues. So I'm going to read again from an article. Someone who was there meant you reboot your computer and poof, the game isn't there anymore. And then you have to delete and reinstall. Yes, manually delete files that aren't removed by the uninstall. People have horror stories of multiple dead directories of 70 gigabytes that seem to contain all the data, but you can't actually use them. You can't even access them. In fact, that's because these directories are stashed away under file ownership that requires you to learn about how to go in and manually take control of directories, file system processes. Education, I'm sure, is in no way terrifyingly easy to mess up in a serious and consequential way. They are offering installation fixes and promising a hitching patch on June 10th. What I want to know first off is that I've not played it, but my several of my friends here, my son and a friend, have loaded that game up and have not had those issues. Have either one of you loaded PSO2 and played it?
Nope.
I'm going to, but I'll wait till June.
Yeah, it's probably a smart idea. But honestly, the game is a little too late for, I don't know. Like, I like the concept, I like the sci-fi, I like the anime, I like the mechs. But again, it's just like, it's almost a decade years old. I just can't get over that.
Yeah, I was going to show that video so people who background got to do that. So I was showing the open screen for ESO. Yeah, so for those who never saw they call it PSO, obviously. It's Hardline 2. I heard someone say that. I'm like, oh, of course. ESO, PSO2, so pretty cool. While you're watching that, also, Blizzard is going to do a Shadowlands reveal on Tuesday, June 9th. Thursday, June 9th, sorry. Thursday, June 9th? No, Tuesday. Tuesday 9th, sorry. It's a week from now. A week from this coming Tuesday.
It was Thursday, right?
Tuesday, June. Oh,
No.
I did it wrong.
Hold on, guys.
Dang it, Dad.
Yeah, that's not right.
Yeah, it was Tuesday, June 9th. Yeah. No, I got it right. Yeah, okay, sorry. So, but, all right. And then,
sorry.
It's not quite a MMO type thing, but Sony's PS5, their Future of Gaming event is coming this Thursday, June 4th. So that'll be interesting, okay? So, yeah.
Down with Sony.
Just a little bit of notes. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're talking about one of the opinion pieces coming up is about playing MMOs on console. So there are console games out there, but see how it goes. We get back out of this thing. Now we're going to go into Solomon notes. No, sorry. Hang on, man. I'm getting all messed up here now. That was the request. Sorry, that was the escort. Wait, sorry. That was the daily quest. Thank you so much. We are into the delivery quest with Solomon SK notes. What notes do you have for this week?
Yeah, so I didn't really pump out a whole lot of news this week just because there was just so much going on. I'm making some changes, added some other things as well. So the only thing that really comes into mind, in my opinion, is the new MMO coming out called Odin. Odin. It's an MMO based on Norse mythology. Like, oh yeah, Odin Valhalla Rising, that's what it was called. And initially I wasn't really that excited about it because they said they were releasing it for the mobile platform. I'm like, okay. Well, I mean, it's interesting, but I mean, it's for mobile, then, whatever. But then they actually came out and said they're actually releasing it for the PC too. And I could appreciate that. Again, I have my biases against the mobile platform. I'm not 100% against it. I just think that it's just a cluster of games with too many gacha mechanics and just really shady business practices, more so than any other platform, in my opinion. But and I'm hoping that the PC, because they're porting it over to the PC, that it doesn't carry over. Although admittedly there are games with shady monetization practices with PC titles as well. But again, that's neither here nor there. Or maybe it is, I don't know. But I really think that this might be kind of the future, if you will, or the trend that goes on here on out, because there's no denying that the mobile market makes hand over fist profits for all these companies, more so than PC and consoles, maybe even PC and consoles combined even. And so it really sucks that we see all these games go over to the mobile platform, but with this compromise, hey, we'll probably be able to get the best of both worlds. Now, the quality for the game in general is going to suffer because, I mean, why do more? Yeah, well, what's up?
On mobile. I mean, like now, I think it's called Odin Valhalla Rising, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks beautiful from a PC point of view. It looks Korean. So, but the mobile, you're right. It could be dumbed down the graphics wise.
Well, and that's the point of debate. I think it's like, why would a company make a game when all they have to do is the lowest common denominator, which is the mobile. So if they actually make two different versions, one with like really awesome graphics for the PC and one for, a separate one for the mobile, but they're both cross platform, like that to me just seems like that's awesome. But I don't think that might cut into the company's profit. So I'm thinking like again, the good lowest common denominator, the mobile platform. So, but either way, with that being said, I'm still glad that they're actually optimizing games for both platforms, because we're seeing Grand Saga do that, we're seeing Genshin Impact do that, and now we're seeing Odin Valhalla Rising do that. And so I'm kind of seeing a trend in this direction. I'm not 100% with it. I'm maybe 80%, because again, it's like you can't expect the world to conform to what you want. And so what's the best possible solution? And this is what I believe the answer is. So yeah, I think in major MMO news, I think that's probably the biggest one.
No, that's a good point. I mean, there's probably been discussion about I'm a PC person versus consoles, and what's really interesting is the fact that I like people. Well, the reason why they buy consoles, they know they can buy it for like $500. It's good for like say 5 years at least, right? Every game that makes on it will be perfect. It'll be wonderful. You don't worry about updating your graphics card or anything else. It works. If you do a game that fits on a phone, then you know it's going to be good for any platform you put it on, which is kind of a good thing in some respects. Even though, like I said, if you dumb it down, then it's going to be a little harder.
Right.
All right. So our Odin expert, Maluz, is in the house. He said the game looks like a joke. Check it out, Maluz. It's called Odin Valhalla Rising. All right. Was there anything else, Solomon, you had for notes?
Not that really comes to mind. That's about it, really.
All right. So, Jaziel, do you have any notes this week?
I mean, most of it we're going to cover with the ESO coverage, but excuse me, there's a lot of pollen in the air, and the wind is. I was telling Kenneth, and it's going 15 to 20 miles an hour outside, just blowing it right in my face when I was walking the dog.
Yikes.
So there's going to be a lot of muting my mic and stuff. So I apologize. Thank you for understanding. I do not have the virus. You can cut that out later, Solomon. So I didn't really have any notes. Again, we've had another kind of slow week with news, other than that Greymore is the big deal. And we already mentioned, of course, that we aren't getting BlizzCon. I wasn't planning on going this year anyway, so no sweat off my back. I do plan on going next year, so hopefully everything's back to normal, because I plan on trying to drag these two dudes, and there's a whole bunch of other people that I've been trying to, offer them some Chick-fil-A and In-N-Out hamburgers and stuff to try to get them over here for it. But we'll see in 2021. But I was happy to see that they are going to do kind of a little show for us. Well, at least Ian Hazacostas, and I can't remember the other guy that they picked out of the team. I thought it was going to be Lore again, but apparently not. I actually like Lore a lot. But
I've watched Lore for a long time before he even joined Blizzard.
Yeah, he's a pretty genuine dude. As far as that's my opinion. I know some people don't like him, but
what was his? I mean, I first found him. He was doing YouTube videos for playthroughs. But what was the channel called again? Do you remember?
Oh, that's going back.
I can't remember the channel. I know. I'm trying to remember. Oh well.
I'm going to sit here and go for the next 5 minutes trying to think of it. So we'll think of it later. We'll put it down in the notes.
Yeah. So yeah, 2021. So, we've talked about doing that. About doing BlizzCon in 2021.
But I am happy that we're going to get a little more detail on what Shadowlands is going to be all about. It doesn't sound like it's going to be a big production. It's going to be just kind of two guys sitting down and giving us some details. And supposedly there may be a cinematic and whatnot. That was kind of being rumored. I don't know if that's going to be true, so don't take it as gospel from me, but that's the rumor. And we're supposed to be finding out a lot more detail about the covenants, about the Maw and the tower and all that stuff. So those of you who have been chomping at the bit wondering when we were going to get more info, well, there you go. And it apparently is on Tuesday. Kenneth was correct. I was wrong. For some reason, I swear they used to do it on Thursdays, but whatever. It's fine. I'll take it on a Tuesday.
What's funny is that this is just around the time of E3. So I'm wondering if they were planning on doing this anyways for E3. I don't know if Blizzard goes to E3 or not, because usually at BlizzCon.
No, I thought about that too, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure they were holding this information for BlizzCon and hoping for all this stuff to be blown over the national emergency. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they even if they did open everything back up here in the next week, there's no way that they could have enough time to get everything ready and put on a big show like that. That takes all year. Like I said, I've shared with you guys, I have a friend that helps out with San Diego Comic-Con. He's in there in the grind of it, helping get things ready for the next year, and he says they are already working on next year's Comic-Con.
Wow.
When that year's hasn't even happened yet. So it takes a lot of work and a lot of people, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to put these shows on. And Blizzard is no different. And anyone that's been to a BlizzCon, that they've got one of the best shows. I mean, E3 is great. It's cool. TwitchCon's cool, sort of. I don't know. I kind of got bored at TwitchCon. Honestly.
It's more of a trade show. TwitchCon's more of a trade show than.
You're right. No, you're right. Comic-Con in San Diego is just that's the mecca, man. That's the one. If you got to choose one to go to, that's it.
Well,
but anyway, that was kind of sidetracked. But I am happy to see that they're gonna, whet our appetites a little bit more. And unfortunately, the longer I've been away from World of Warcraft, the less I've been wanting to go back for some reason. And I found myself I don't know if it's from Solomon's influence. I maybe am talking to him too much or something, but I'm starting to look at the graphics and I'm like, I don't know, man. I kind of like ESO's graphics and BDO, and I'm starting to even like all those Japanese and Korean and Chinese MMOs now. I'm like, I don't know. Like I said, the longer I've been away, the more I'm starting to cringe. I'm hoping when Shadowlands comes out, I'm not like Solomon and I'm just saying, nope, not done with that.
Well, at least
Until
Shadowlands has
2004.
RTX support, so hopefully that.
It does well, but that's just with shadows, though. That's not like I don't
It's
think they've
true.
touched lighting, and I mean the shadows is kind of lighting, but I'm sure they're working on it. We'll see. But
Tell them to do
I've got
more.
an RTX
Yeah.
card. I'm ready, guys.
Yeah, same here.
Just implement, please. I paid a lot of money for this stupid card
Right.
that's in here right now. I want to
have
use
a
it.
1070. 1070
Yeah,
RTX.
10.
Um,
I don't.
I'm,
It was the 20 series, right?
I'm behind you guys. Okay.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
the
next
20
year.
series was the first ones with RTX. Solomon might know.
I don't. I
But,
think
all
Dad
right.
Dad is referring to having a
Um,
GTX, not RTX.
I will.
I have a
I,
GTX. Good point.
yeah, that's right. You're right. You're right. I will say my experience real quick. Might as well since I didn't have many notes. With Greymore, I was waiting for these two guys on either side of me to to hop in there,
Well,
and it just did not
we're in
work
this
out.
life. Well, this
Yeah.
guy. Sorry.
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, things are not like I see it on my screen. I'm sorry. Um, again, thank you for understanding. So I didn't get to go experience a new area, but all the people in our guild who were over there said it was horrible and yet hilarious at the same
Horrible.
time
And hilarious? Wait. Horrible.
because of the
HORRIBLE.
yes, because of
Horrible.
the lag and
Oh.
the issues
Oh.
with world
Okay.
bosses. That world bosses
Mm.
were literally teleporting around the map. They were attacking, it would teleport away and then come back and then disappear again under the ground. It would like go like that and then pop back. All kinds of weird stuff.
That's just fight
You
mechanics. It's not
assume we
lag.
didn't go there.
Yeah, and I was like, and I was thinking that I was all, Solomon and Kennethan and I are probably lucky that we didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the thing is, you
The-
mentioned that 'cause I was in Glenumbra, last couple of days. I mean, on the release night as well as a couple days, and I kept having lag. I'm like, oh, it's my
Yeah.
computer. It's I'm done.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm getting the new components, right? Because I was actually literally trying to fight. It's like I got the horse, and I'm off the horse, okay?
Oh,
And then,
yeah,
or I
yeah.
start fighting something, and I'm fighting. I'm like, wait a minute, it's not happening. Where's my? And so you're kind of explaining the same things happening over there. So maybe
It's
it's
true.
not me. Maybe it's the whole game. Every part of the game had
Right,
lag.
because I was in one of the original zones, that shouldn't have been affected by this hardly at all.
Mm.
And I was clicking on things and nothing was happening. And I would
Okay.
walk away from it because I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not getting
Yeah.
that treasure chest. And I'd walk away. And like 10 seconds later, I would teleport back to it and it would open. And I'm
It's
like,
not just
what in the
me.
world's going on?
Mm.
Well, just to give everybody a little bit more. I'm going to shut up in a little bit and get back to Ken to direct the rest away. But what really bummed me out, I don't know if any of you guys have Spectrum and heard about this or experienced it with me, but we ended up having Spectrum. All of California went down. Most of
Oh,
New
wow.
York went down. Most of Texas went down. I heard Oregon was down.
Spectrum's in Hawaii too, so I
Yeah,
wonder about
Hawaii completely down. It was no internet at all. Now, I want to say thank God for data because I had a blast getting on those websites that show if your internet's up or not, chatting with people, and I actually found a bunch of people from my own city on here, and it was nice chatting with them till 3 in the morning. Hello, everyone, if you're here. I did tell them about our show, so
Nice.
maybe we get some new people. But it was fun chatting with them and making jokes about it because there was nothing else we could do. And it just sucked because I was sitting there and the servers were up. They were actually running good at the time, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go do my writs, which is you craft a bunch of stuff and you get experience and loot and stuff from it. And so I was like, okay, that's how I'm going to end my evening. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to plug off the game, watch an episode of Duck Dynasty and with my daughter, and then go to bed. And that's normally our routine every night. And right when I went to go do my jewel crafting, my PC went off, or the internet cut off, and I went, oh, well, that sucks. It'll come back on, right? Because that's what my modem's been doing. And time went, go, okay, 30 minutes, an hour went by, and I'm like, okay, so our modem's just dead, right? That's what I thought. And so I got on, and nope, everybody that's on Spectrum was, and it was out pretty much all night.
Wow. Well,
So yeah.
Our next topic was our storyline quest with Garcia and so far, and so apparently, since none of us actually got into Greymore, we don't have any impressions there. But apparently, we all got hit by the same problems with regards to server lag in the game itself and people having problems. Now, what was the besides the lag? What was the other thing that had? Were there any issues with the overall game itself, the graphics? Anything people complain about, or mainly just the mechanics of being able to play the game?
I think there are a lot of complaints about I keep forgetting what it's called. We call it archaeology in World of Warcraft, but they call it something else in ESO. But it's archaeology. Okay. A lot of the streamers that I've been watching, again, for those of you who didn't watch our previous show that we did specifically for Greymore this past week, if you watch any of the people that are on the ESO stream team through this whole week, they are giving out not just their usual drops on Twitch, but they upped the drop rate. They're giving away tons. And guys, I can tell you, I've been in streams that have 1,700 people in them, and I've already got 6 crates, I believe. Yeah, I've got like 6 crates. I've got a mount. I've got 2 pets. I've got a couple pieces of furniture for a house. I guess I'm gonna be forced to do a house in this game because I'm getting household stuff, and I don't like household stuff, but I'm getting like chairs and tables and paintings and stuff. And I've even got some gold that came in my in-game mail from watching streamers that are on their stream team.
And there are. For those who don't know, there are people right now online.
Oh yeah,
who are on the stream team. So I don't think I can at least go there to lurk.
For those of you who watch us and are more of the family-friendly ilk and have tuned into some of those, and you're like, hey, that dude's cussing a lot, or that gal's talking dirty, or whatever. Which there are some on their stream team that do that. I'm sorry. You can go into your search feature, and you can put that tag in there, family friendly, and it'll only bring up the ones. And there are several people on the ESO stream team who are family friendly. They tend to not have as many viewers as Ken's camera went off for a little bit there.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But there's some really cool people. I can't remember her name. There's actually another disabled gal like myself. I'm not a gal, but disabled. It's ma'am. Cut that out. I had to say it, dude.
It's all right. I'll leave it in there.
She's really super cool. And I think her stream is where I've been getting most of the drops. I don't know why, but I can't remember her name. Really cool. I think she's over in England or something. She wears glasses, and so anyway, I'll get her name and drop it to you guys later. But
well, this guy is doing a cat overlay. Oh my goodness!
Well, and there was someone that had an Asian accent that kind of did have that thing where it turns you into a panda bear or whatever. But she was actually kind of cool too to watch. I'm not into the Furby.
Furby.
Furry.
Wow.
Well, this one actually literally has hashtag
Brought that
furry
back.
on it, right? But
Yeah, I'm not into furries, but
well,
you know, she was entertaining. But yeah, as far as the game goes, I mean, right now, as of today, Saturday, I've been playing for. I think I played for like 5 hours today, and it's been running great.
That's cool.
I still haven't gone to Western Skyrim yet, so I can't tell you about that. But I can tell you that as far as the other areas in the game, everything seems to be back to normal. You would think so because they literally for 3 nights in a row shut the servers down from I think it was 11 p.m. our time until like 5 in the morning or something. So it's been they've been working on it, which is good. That's good. They had issues and they got right to work. They didn't sit there and hold off till Monday or anything like that. They got right on it and they seem to have fixed the issues. So I'm happy about that. I do know what most streamers that I've been watching and even a couple of the YouTube channels are complaining about is that the archaeology part is very monotonous and very boring.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're and I watched Zy oh gosh, what's his name? Zy Tall or Zy something. Anyway, I watched him for a little bit doing it. And I got about an hour in and I could just watching it, I was like, oh, I would not want to watch a streamer do this for his whole stream. And he was doing that because he wanted to get the mount and all the cool stuff that comes with it. And that mount, by the way, is very cool. And it took him 5 hours, I think, to get it. So if you want the mount, you're going to have to invest at least. Yeah. But as far, you know, everything looks beautiful. I mean, they did a great job with the aesthetics of it and the look and the feel of the new area. I think everyone's pretty happy about the main quest line as well as the side quest. And it seems to be a mixed bag as far as, you know, they did all those changes to the vampire. There's only 5 skills in that skill line that are added that you can make use of. So it's not like a huge thing. And I didn't think it was that big of a change. It just kind of buffed some things and made things balance a little better. And I do see a lot of people offering 2,000 anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 gold to be bitten to become a vampire. So there's a lot of people that are asking for it. So if you want a good way to make money, become a vampire and then go just stand in a zone and say, hey, willing to bite people for 2,000 and they'll pay for it. If you want to make gold quick, you got it from me. Just remember me. I will take 10% of that cut. I will take 10% of that cut. You got the info from me. Just telling you.
That's kind of funny.
Other than that, that's all I got for today, guys.
Yeah. So hopefully next week we'll have some more ESO impressions from this. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah.
Not, you know, I mean, now it's like one of the things where anytime they do a patch or a new expansion, whoever game it is, always seems to be those growing pains. And so maybe it's good that we didn't get into the game yet directly. Waited until they actually took care of some of those bugs.
Oh yeah.
All right, that was our storyline quest. We're getting to some escort quests, y'all. This is a question I thought about was the fact that I was going through my Steam account, figuring out what kind of games would be kind of cool to play for GM Community Night. Now I was thinking about all these survival games, you know, Rust, Days of Die, Outlaws of the Old West, or even Ark, you know. And I mean, they are. I mean, we talked about MMOs being massively. I don't think these are massive. I think there's a cap on how many people are actually in one zone. I'm not sure if Outlaws of the Old West. I think there's multiple zones, or like 50 to 100. I think was the maximum.
Oh right,
right.
And I don't know if there's an actual survival game that is a massively, you know, multi online game. at this point. But I was just curious the fact of, it's like, are survival games, are they RPGs? Solomon, are survival
That's
games RPGs?
that's a good question. I didn't think about that. They're a lot of them are, like Population Zero, Last Oasis. I'm forgetting some of the more popular ones off the top of my head are classified as MMORPGs. But again, as we talked about, we kind of have to go over semantics and define what MMORPG means. And so, I'm I'm still a believer of the classical take, or the traditional take, that it has to have a persistent world with thousands of players, with your such as your traditional MMORPGs like World of Warcraft and of the such.
Right.
But man, things are just kind of changing, right? Things are just kind of like I can't think of a better example than this, so I'll say it, although I'm very hesitant to use it. But the definition of what made a liberal, or even a conservative, even back in the 1940s and 50s and 60s, is completely different from what makes a liberal today.
Correct.
The definition changed over the decades. So, and now they use the term classical liberal, to define that. So, I'm wondering if the definition of MMORPG is going the same route. I'm wondering if it's shifting, for the worst, or for the good, or and the bad, or maybe both, or either, whatever. Do I like it? But no, not necessarily. But again, the world doesn't bend to my wills and what I want. It just does that. Change is inevitable. So with that being said, I would loosely define it as an MMORPG. I would. Well, okay, so let me put it this way. There's subgenres of even MMORPGs, right? There's like things like Destiny 2, which isn't an MMORPG, but still would be defined under a subgenre of an MMORPG. So with that being said, would survival MMORPGs be under that umbrella of MMORPGs? Yes, definitely. Would it actually, can you market it as an actual MMORPG, say for marketing purposes? There's a gray area, but I'm leaning more towards the yes part, only because I've seen worse with the mobile market. You have a lot of these mobile titles claiming to be MMORPGs when they're clearly not. So I'm willing to give survival games the pass, only because there's other games out there that just clearly doesn't fit the definition. And so that's why, for me, I'm able to find a more a direct line between the two, just because we, in my opinion, have a more clear case of the two opposite polar ends of the dichotomy.
Yeah, that's fair statement. So Malou says Rush is mostly just PvP. Arc is pretty fun, well, with friends. They're a private server, and in 7 days it dies, actually pretty fun too. I guess I always think with the fact that survival, there is no real line at times, right? For people who like to actually really role play, there are role play servers in all these different games, and RPG stands for role playing game.
There you go.
And yes, you're kind of role playing when you're playing a character, going through quests. You're playing, like right now, I have my my Templar. I'm a Templar for ESO, so I'm following what it's doing. I'm following the quest. I'm kind of role playing the character, but all things where you actually could, if you wanted to, really role play a survival game that had no quest. Just literally pretend to be the character in the game. After all, that's why they're RP servers. So I keep thinking, like, does an RPG really turn into more of a quest line game? And if it has no quest line, it's just you role playing, then is it really a role playing game? So Jazia, what are your thoughts about this whole discussion we're having?
Well, yeah, I think that role playing can be done in just about any game that you play. I mean, you could do it with a racing game or a flight simulator or city building. Well, not maybe a city building game, but any game where you have an actual character. Yeah, kind of. As a city manager or an architect or whatever, I guess you could say that you're in that position, or a manager, or not a manager, but a mayor. But I play on role-playing servers on Rust. I didn't play Arc that much. I've probably put a couple dozen hours into it, but Rust I put hundreds and hundreds of hours into, and mostly played on a role-playing server that was also heavily modded with zombies and other fun things that we did. As it was more of a co-op server than PvP, although we did have specific days and times where you were allowed to do. It would open up for PvP and PvE, kind of like New World. But I really, while you can do that, I have a really difficult time thinking it's okay for a company to label it as an RPG. For me, RPG kind of lends itself to being able to do questing and more things that give you character development than just your own
Right.
imagination and a character that's roaming free in an open world, something that was meant for PvP
Right.
for the most part, like Rust, like Ark, like Last Oasis, which I still haven't tried that out, although it kind of, I don't know, that it didn't really flop, but I don't know that I'm going to get a chance to play it now because there's not terribly many people dabbling in it. But anyway, when I think MMORPG, I definitely think of questing. I think of having a story that the developers give you there, and there's not really much story in things like. I mean, there is, but it's not. It's kind of left mostly up to your own imagination.
Right.
Again, even New World's going to be kind of going that route. There are quests, but they're like, okay, go collect, kill these wolves so that you can get their pelts and make this armor so that it goes towards your company, so that your company can build and fortify itself and armor itself, and make weapons that are going to go towards your company to defend itself or to go attack another company, that kind of stuff. But there's not like quests that are going to like reveal what's actually going on in the land and what are these strange red-eyed creatures running at my wall and trying to kill me when I go out to shoot rabbits or whatever, like you would in ESO or Guild Wars 2 or Final Fantasy 14 or Black Desert Online, or those are definitely MMORPGs. There's no question there. But survival games, I don't know of many that I would feel comfortable if I was Steam or Epic or any other launcher putting that tag on there.
Yeah, I think you're
I'm
right. I mean,
sure.
you can role play it, but I don't
Right,
necessarily say it's
right.
always a role playing game.
No.
Like Malou was saying, Ark Survival in 7 Days to Die is more of an role playing game. Both agree. Paranormal Slaps and Malou is saying that Rusk is really toxic and it's not really worth playing.
No,
That's why I think about
it is on. Sorry to interrupt you.
he said the bullet
Sorry.
dating said.
I played Rust, and I can tell you most of the public servers are very. You're right. They're horrible, and most competitive games are. Let's just be honest. Especially survival games where it's not just you against the environment, but you against other players.
Right.
And there's always going to be spawn camping. There's always going to be those people that wait for you to log off and then go destroy your builds and steal all your stuff. That unfortunately is the nature of survival games, and some
Right.
people love it. Me myself, I
Yeah.
don't, and that's why I play on private servers. I
Right.
can
Good point.
name a dozen private servers on Rust right now off the top of my head that are filled with awesome people that cooperate and work together, and we spend that 30 days or 2 weeks, whatever their setting is on before the real resets, helping each other out and just going out and having fun. So it just depends, but I would say if you find private servers on there. It's the same way with Arc, as far as I know. I mean, we've got some really good friends that Reina plays Arc quite a bit, and some of the other guys, and they do the same thing. They're on a private server that they play on, and it's really fun. But you get on that public server, and it's oof. I don't know
Yeah.
how
Well,
people.
that's where that's where you talk about public servers are more inclined to being like MMOs, where you're actually on not a private server, but you're on a public, and you got to deal with everyone. That's why I don't like necessarily playing on a PvP server, because they want to just be running around. Also, someone ganks me because like, oh yeah, I'm a level 50, you're level 5. There you go. Boop. You're like,
Right.
and they camp your body, and it's like, to me, it's toxic. So I mean, if Rust is similar, where the public servers are toxic like that, you're right. A lot of them are. But the thing about survival games to me is the fact that there is no questing. It's almost, you are role playing, but not really. I mean, unless you want to role play. That's why there are the role playing servers for actual MMORPGs, because people say, no, I want you to actual role play it. Role playing game. Well, yeah, but role playing game with quests. I can be a druid to talk my American accent and have to role play it, right? But no, you need to role play your druid. I'm like, okay, that's true role playing. That's like people who LARP. People literally who want to do live
LARP.
action role playing, just fine. Okay, I mean that's where. But I think that you can make a survival game an RPG if you choose to. There are a lot of people who play GTA Online and role play it. I mean, my son's mentioned to me different Twitch channels that people actually role play that game. It's not an RPG. I don't think so, but you can role play if you want to.
No,
That's why I
some
was
of them are
thinking about
pretty serious about it.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's why when I thought about the whole addition of question about, wait a minute, but people who do role playing game, but they're choosing to, versus World of Warcraft, ESO, Final Fantasy 14, BDO, all those ones, right? They have quests, in a sense, forcing you into a role playing game.
Right.
So Paranormal Slap says, I just recently switched from Xbox to PC. I have noticed it is so hard to find friends, is extremely lonely. Any advice? Okay, I'll come back in a minute, okay? I play on a PvP server in Arc, and the server is actually pretty cool. You are not allowed to raid anyone. That makes sense, okay? So that's part of the rule set. Now, you can PvP, but not raid. Kind of makes sense. Like you get a chance to, you can be a PvP, but there are like zones where you're safe.
I like that idea.
As for switching from Xbox to PC, I have noticed it's so hard to find friends. It's extremely lonely. Any advice?
Join
So
Discord.
you're talking about
groups.
overall, just quick, I'm thinking like if you're talking about overall any game, not just the MMORPG. Obviously, when it comes to MMORPGs, get into a guild. I don't know what guild you're ever kind of playing, but if you're playing other games, then find a Discord, other people, and ask the question, and then find. I mean, if you're not getting a response, then it's like hopefully
Ask one of
they know
us.
you're there.
I mean, you can always. You're here. You could ask any of us three if we know any guilds in the game that you play, and we more than likely do. And we can guide you towards those guilds, get you in communication with them. Because we don't. All three of us play different MMOs. We do have our main ones. For Solomon's Black Desert Online. For Kenneth and I right now, it's Elder Scrolls Online. We do play World of Warcraft. We do play, well, I guess out of the three of us, I do play Guild Wars 2 once in a while, and do know a guild. Actually, I know two guilds that are awesome in there. I can guide you to Final Fantasy 14. Just contact us if you're having trouble in the Discord groups, and we'll help you as much as we can.
Which kind of leads to our class quest I have down, because you mentioned about consoles. I'm looking for a good free MMORPG. Okay. Let's hold that to the end. Okay, let's go to the next step. We'll answer that question later, man. So he mentioned consoles. So MMOs are on consoles now.
Yep.
So I thought I'd ask the question, PC or console to play MMOs?
That's kind of fun.
I am a PC player. More inclined to say I'm going to be PCing it, okay? I think that playing a console, you lose some of the stuff because you have a minimal amount of stuff on your game controller. those people who love the game controller and they only have an Xbox or a PlayStation. So why not? So I don't know. How about you guys?
You go first,
Oh,
Sir
it's all
Jesse.
mine go. Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah.
I think that there are MMOs that are better suited for console than others. I think that some of the games, especially the popular ones, are just there's too much going on. There's too many buttons. Final Fantasy 14 and World of Warcraft, I just can't imagine playing either of those on a console with a controller. There are way too many abilities and spells
Seems
and
like it.
things that
Yeah.
yeah, it's just too noisy, too much. Now, Guild Wars 2 with just your little 5 abilities and your extra and your potion or whatever you put in that slot. And then the one we're playing right now, there's Elder Scrolls Online with your 5 abilities plus your ultimate and your and actually this works out great for a controller, having that wheel with the different, you can put your potions and your food in there, that it pops up a wheel that you just hit the little scroll button and it goes to, you pick what you want, is perfect for console gaming. I've played ESO on console, and ESO is great. Now, my rathers, I'm with Kenneth, and I'm a PC gamer. I would rather be mouse and keyboard all day. But I can say ESO is done pretty right. I think Guild Wars 2 would be good on there. But yeah, I most other MMOs are just not, if they're not designed from the ground up to be minimalistic, would be the way I would word it. Then it's just not going to work. But as far as
Solomon.
graphics and stuff, I mean,
Yeah.
cool.
Solomon,
Yeah.
console or PC? I think you're
It's kind of funny because yesterday I did a special stream 1:00 in the morning because of the freaking Black Desert Online stay at home event, Heidelball stay at home event, and this is something that they actually touched.
right.
They so Black Desert Online is actually on the consoles and for the PC. Unfortunately, it's not cross compatible. I'm really hoping it would. I think that'd be awesome, but
Mhm.
oh shoot, what was I gonna say? So first of all, the three things. The console version of Black Desert Online is going to be lower grade, obviously, because of the inferior hardware. I know fighting words, but it's true. But they still are able to manage to pull it off. A lot of people play on the console of Black Desert Online, anyways. And secondly, they did this contest. So I was one of 200 in the North America region to attend the ball, and they had this jumping puzzle event there, and everybody on the console version was having a really hard time completing this jumping puzzle, whereas the PC versions of the regions were like having I mean, they're having a hard time, but it was an easier time compared to the console version. So I think there is a limitation of just solely playing a game with a controller. Now, I think there are certain games where the controller has an advantage, but again, that's a little bit biased on my end because a lot of those games are games that I played when I was a child, with the Super NES and, Sega Genesis and stuff like Final Fight and Streets of Rage, for example. Like, I tried playing those beat 'em up games on the keyboard. I just can't do it. And I'm pretty sure
It's horrible.
I'm pretty sure there's a way you could, but I'm just so used to playing those type of games on a controller that I just, my brain just can't make the switch. So again, I don't know if keyboards are still superior to those particular games, but it could be. But anyways, and secondly, I'm kind of digressing just a little bit, but a lot of people are suspecting that the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 are going to be the last consoles in a really, really, really long while because of cloud gaming. And if there's a way where you could actually plug in a mouse and keyboard to those consoles, like, it essentially becomes an equal to a PC. Because then, as we talked about it earlier numerous times, there's a lot of companies going the cloud route, and obviously Stadia did a terrible job with it. But either way, that a lot of companies are going towards that route because you have lower head or what are the terms am I looking for? Like there's just less to deal with. You have a better margin. I think that's the what I'm trying to say here. And so that
Really good statement there.
And so that's why I think MMOs on consoles isn't going to really be a big deal if for one we improve the internet architecture in our country to the point where latency doesn't really become an issue. It is right now, or at least in the U.S. I don't think it's an issue in Korea. Although people still have gaming rigs in Korea, and very devout people who still use gaming rigs and not cloud gaming. And second, yeah, it's that is going to be the equalizer eventually, maybe 5, 10, 20 years from now. So yeah, I think MMOs are in a good spot if we could get the fundamentals down first.
So I liked everything you guys said. One thing that caught me along this way is the fact that I thought it was just going to mainly be a mouse, keyboard versus controller, but it's not. But as you mentioned about the graphics, because if you're doing PS5 and an Xbox One, you're talking about now a 5-year-old box. Okay, and so you're trying to dumb it down a little bit to fit that, which reminds me of the fact that you mentioned about mobile earlier. So in some respects, if you can make a game work on mobile, you can work it on any console too, because you have to dumb down the graphics. PCs allow you to have better graphics overall.
Right.
But in the end, I hadn't thought about the fact that you're right. If this is the last console, then there's going to be PlayStation Cloud and Xbox Cloud.
Right.
For the future, because there's no point in having a console anymore.
Exactly. And that's what Sony and Microsoft are pushing.
But my biggest but is the fact that you're going to have some kind of people who don't have a PC will have to have some kind of box to still plug into to do the cloud. So there might be a 6. Okay, that's basically it's like there's no SSD drive, nothing else. Just you plug this box, your controller into a box into the cloud. It knows exactly where it's going to go because it's part of the PlayStation Network. You're done. I don't know. See,
probably. I mean, if we're thinking way, 10, 15, 20, especially years from now, I think a lot of the televisions will have those integrated with them.
True.
And
Yeah, true.
what'll probably end up happening is Microsoft's probably going to put out a television set or monitor, whatever you want to call it.
Like Apple,
and you're just going to Apple will do it, and and Google will do it, and Sony if they survive.